Tonight, a winter and road forecast in advance of more frozen precipitation on the way. Plus,
I think it's absolutely unfair. I think that they didn't do a proper investigation and they jumped the gun.
students and parents voice support for their suspended football coach at tonight's North Little Rock School Board meeting. And made in Arkansas, one woman's impressive product line thanks to her business partners, goats. Your news starts now.
Now, from Arkansas's News and Information Center, this is THV 11 News at 10.
The first round of winter weather may have melted away, but it's not over yet. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Craig O'Neill.
And I'm Denise Middleton. Winter weather could be a nuisance tomorrow morning, and it only gets more interesting from there.
To see what we're expecting, you know who we're going to go visit with, Arkansas's weatherman, Ed Buckner.
Let me just say off the top, what we're going to see tomorrow is very, very, very light, okay? This is not going to be anything measurable, and it's going to be very scattered, but it could cause some slick spots on roadways. That should be the main impact. Let's take a look at temperatures right now. Everyone just about in central Arkansas below freezing. We have been all day, so the roads, the ground, the air temperature, everyone is below freezing. Now watch this new forecast model. It has kind of delayed the onset of the precipitation just a bit. Kind of hard to believe that because I do think we'll see some spotty, scattered light freezing rain early. This is 6:30 in the morning, 25 degrees, not showing much precip. By 8:30, a little bit is showing up in Garland County. It's hard to see there, but just a little bit of scattered freezing rain. By 12:30 in the afternoon, 33 in Little Rock, so we'll be on the borderline with more scattered freezing rain from Little Rock up towards Searcy and Jonesboro. And I think that northeastern corner of the state will see the brunt of the freezing weather. But regardless, as we mentioned, it does not take much to cause some road problems. And to see how road crews are prepping for this winter weather, we want to speak with Danny Stracely, who's with the Highway and Transportation Department. First of all, Danny, thank you for braving the cold and being out there for us. And second of all, I can kind of empathize with you. We're both kind of in the same field here where, you know, we hope for the best and prepare for the worst, right? So what have you guys been doing today?
Absolutely. Well, we spent the day pre-treating the routes across the state, basically reloaded for another session of winter weather. We have pretty much fully restocked our supplies of rock salt, so we are in pretty good shape for whatever happens in the morning. And again, we pre-treated the roads today with the salt brine that we've been using and have seen a lot of good results with that.
I've heard you say before how sometimes you can't pre-treat because in Arkansas weather, you know, we'll get that dose of rain first that would wash everything off. Tonight we're looking for something a little bit different. As this stuff starts to fall, it should be in the form of freezing rain. So that's probably why you went ahead with that.
Right, absolutely. When the temperature is already below freezing before the rain gets here, we can go ahead and pre-treat the elevated surfaces. And as a matter of fact, today we pre-treated all the lanes of the interstate. Usually we just do one lane, the inside lane. Today we had enough time and enough sunshine and knew that the temperature would drop before the rain got here that we could pre-treat. So when that rain starts to freeze on contact, then the pre-treatment, the salt brine, will start to activate and give us a head start on clearing the roads.
Do you expect to have to go out later on tonight with your crews to continue that process?
Well, actually at this hour across the state, our crews are starting to report in. Some of them earlier. It just depends on what area of the state you're in. You mentioned northeast Arkansas as maybe being the focal point for this event tomorrow. I talked to our district engineer up there earlier this evening. He said that they are reporting in at this hour. Central Arkansas crews will report in at about midnight, somewhat patrol the area just to look for any slick spots, and then as the rain starts to fall and freeze on contact, why then the rock salt will come out and we'll start taking it off the road.
All right, Danny, thanks so much for joining us and I appreciate all you do.
Sure, thanks for having me, Ed.
All right, no problem. All right, guys, we'll watch it for you closely overnight. Right now, back to you.
All right, Ed, thank you. And because we've seen a recent increase in winter weather, marathon runners may be concerned about the race next Sunday. But today we spoke with organizers and they say conditions, despite the weather models, are expected to be fit for running.
And they say ultimately their goal is to keep everyone safe. Here's what they're planning.
We are making plans to have de-icer, sand, snow plows. You don't stop a race because there's, you know, snow on the ground. As long as the roads are dry and clear and safe, we run.
Well, if you do run the race next Sunday, it's possible you won't receive your medal as they're currently tied up in a labor dispute.
New developments tonight, a group of parents and students in North Little Rock asking the school board to reverse its decision to forfeit all of the varsity basketball and football victories from the 2013-2014 season.
THV 11's Kevin Traeger was at tonight's school board meeting and joins us now with more.
Craig, Denise, good evening. The school board did not respond directly to this request. President Scott Miller says he's waiting to address these specific violations until next week's public hearing, where football coach Brad Bolding is expected to appeal his impending termination.
The penalty that we imposed upon ourselves is the worst penalty that we could incur.
Speaking before the entire North Little Rock School Board, alumnus and football volunteer Chris Burks makes his plea to undo what he calls an unfair decision by district administrators.
We would like for the school board to reinstate the eligibility of KJ Hill, petition the AAA to have our victories reawarded to us, and return the state championship trophy.
School board president Scott Miller told Burks and the rest of the audience he can't comment on the specifics until next week's public hearing.
There's a process we have to go through, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't want to get into something that may be a legal argument next week that we have to vote on.
It's not embarrassing because we know that we did nothing wrong.
Also in attendance at Thursday's board meeting, a number of current student athletes, including senior linebacker Tyler Phillips.
I think that they didn't do a proper investigation and they jumped the gun, and I think that the students and the former players are having to suffer the consequences.
One thing President Miller does acknowledge: the frustration and disappointment of everyone involved.
And I know this is a difficult situation for all of us, parents, teachers, administrators, but most importantly, it's most difficult, if it's most stressful on the students who not only are involved, but students who are just attending school here.
Coach Bolding's public hearing will take place next Thursday at the administration building. We're told the district plans to provide a live video feed of that hearing at Lakewood Middle School. Craig, Denise.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Nearly 10 months after their city was destroyed by a tornado, Vilonia is still showing their resilience as they make plans for the future.
Tonight, the town came together for the first of a series of meetings. They're evaluating the current status of the city while looking at big plans for the future.
Chairman of the group, Rebuild Vilonia, says the goal is to rebuild bigger and better.
The plans that people will see tonight will give them a vision of where we want to go and build some excitement about how we can fill in some of those holes that exist in our community today.
The chairman goes on to say that plans presented tonight will hopefully represent the town 20 to 30 years down the road. After the meeting, citizens were given a feedback form to read, fill out, and return for their second meeting March 5th. Tonight, parents and health officials in Greenwood, Arkansas, awaiting the results of a measles test.
Preschool officials there say one of the students had blood tests done after they noticed a suspicious rash. If the test confirms the student has measles, the school recommends he or she stay away for at least 21 days.
The results of the test are expected tomorrow. Well, after a year of preparation, the Unity Church of Little Rock's plans to bring services to the web are put on hold because of theft. Minister James Buchanan says snowy footprints on the church's floor led him to the place where nearly $6,000 worth of equipment had been stolen. Buchanan says the church had been using the equipment regularly as it got ready to launch live-streamed services on March 15th. Well, now the church hopes this won't be a setback.
It could mess up our plans, but we don't want it to. So I'm going to hold the goal of getting it done and beginning mid-March, and know that something will happen to allow us to do that.
Buchanan goes on to say that he hopes whoever did this will have a change of conscience. If you have any information on the theft, you're asked to contact police.
It's a story that's been gaining a lot of traction on our website. Maumelle police are offering up their parking lot for those who sell or buy items online.
Officers say the idea actually came from a Facebook user.
Somebody said, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea with all this going on lately to be able to use y'all's parking lot for these transactions?
They say the parking lot is well lit, under surveillance 24 hours a day, and you can also request an officer witness the transaction.
This announcement comes just 1 week after a Craigslist homicide in Little Rock.
A proposal that would require students to learn cursive, now just awaiting the governor's signature. Today, the Senate voted 30-1, giving final approval to the bill requiring students know cursive by the end of 3rd grade. A number of districts dropped it after Arkansas adopted Common Core standards for math and English. Teachers say some districts opted to drop cursive to concentrate on other parts of their curricula. And today, the House passes a bill allowing water providers to opt out of providing cavity-fighting fluoride. If approved, the bill will roll back a 2011 law requiring water providers who serve more than 5,000 residents to use fluoride. Opponents say removing fluoride will cause more cavities, while proponents say the measure is about local control. The bill is now headed to the Senate.
Well, new jobs are coming to Little Rock's Mableville community, 160 to be exact. Today, local leaders came together with FedEx officials to break ground on a new distribution center.
When completed in 2016, it'll be 300,000 square feet and process 15,000 packages per hour. Right now, there are 2 facilities in North Little Rock, but both will close once this new facility opens.
After learning she had cancer last year, a Pulaski County woman says her farm is the main thing that keeps her going.
Coming up, we share her story, explaining why her goats are her secrets to success.